Hi everyone, today I will talk about some of the issues from the short story The Hungry Child by R.K. Narayan. I will share my screen for a PPT. Okay. So first I will talk something about the author. So R.K. Narayan's full name is Rasipuram Krishnaswamy Narayan Swamy. So he was born in Madras and he died in Madras as well. After finishing his school, he devoted himself to writing, and his first novel was Swami and Friends. It's a very popular work, and you can find out some of the episodes enacted in YouTube as well, if you feel like. And Swami and Friends is an episodic narrative structure, and the novel is set in the fictitious town of Malguri, located in South India. Some of his popular novels are The English Teacher, Waiting for Mahatma, The Guide, which is again a very acclaimed novel, The Man Eater of Malguri, The Vendor of Sweets, and A Tiger for Malguri. He has also written some short stories, and he also has written some modern prose versions of two Indian epics, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. Now, talking about his writing style, R.K. Narayan portrays the complexities of human relationships, and from all of his works, we get a peek of the psychological, inner emotional turmoil that human beings undergo. And he has a very humorous kind of a writing style. He portrays the ironies of Indian lifestyle. He portrays the superstitious beliefs that people have, and how society is still under those superstitious beliefs, how society still functions through those superstitious beliefs. Then another there, in most of his works, you would be able to say that there is a clash, there is a battle between the modern urban thought processes and ancient traditions. And R.K. Narayan, for being a very humorous writer, he has a humoristic approach towards writing. He questions, social binaries. He questions religion. He questions conventions. He challenges the, he protests against the superstitious beliefs, and also gender binaries. And yes, most of his work is a critique of society and culture. So he is more a writer of social satire. Now I will jump to the themes or the issues that that gets portrayal in The Hungry Child, the story. Now, first of all, you should know that this story is taken from his novel The Painter of Signs, written in 1976. At the end of this PPT, I have given a link for you to get more information about the novel. So I will also give this PPT to your LMS so that you can click on the link and follow. So now, according to the novel The Painter of Signs, Raman is a very dispassionate character. He is impulsive, he is reckless, he is over imaginative, he is not at all realistic. And this man, Raman, who paints signboards, falls in love with a woman under the name of Daisy. And Daisy works in the works for the government, for population control policy. And in the novel, it is depicted that Daisy from the beginning was not a woman who would commit to a relationship, who would, Daisy actually got out from his home. She abandoned her family, her parents, to their displeasure. She moved to different towns, different cities, and had also broken a marriage in the novel. She had escaped uh, a matrimonial relationship. And yeah, and also, Raman falls in love or becomes, attracted, physically attracted to this woman. And in the novel, it is shown that how he becomes very eager to engage into a physical relationship with Daisy. And okay, so this was about the novel, The Painter of Signs. And yeah, also another important thing, Daisy in the novel, she at the end leaves Raman because she gets work in another town regarding the birth control policy of the government, and she moves out. She abandons Malguri. She moves out of Raman's home. Okay. So yes, now the analysis of the hungry child. First point I have noted for you, that is gender binary. So binaries means opposite. Okay, the rigid oppositions between concepts like male, female, darkness, light. Okay, so in our society there are binaries, woman and man, and with those binaries, with those gender binaries, there are ascribed. So society has ascribed certain gender roles. Now, a woman should be performing these set of roles, and a man should be performing these set of roles. So, through The Hungry Child, we get to see that Raman expects similar things from Daisy. It is not overtly explained that what exactly Raman expected, but it is definitely hinted that Raman wanted to have a family with Daisy, and Raman always expected a wife for him who would be serving him. Okay, and another thing, after Raman finds Gopu in the expo, in the fair, in the expo 77 to 78, he immediately starts thinking of how to say adopt Gopu. And if he actually literally takes away Gopu with him, and he starts this imagination that it would be the best way to serve revenge for Daisy, from Daisy, because the society will be commenting that Daisy became pregnant, or it's Daisy's child. So Raman started, to fantasize that, it would be the best way to take vengeance from Daisy, as he will spread this word among the townspeople that Daisy was pregnant and it is Daisy's child. Now, Raman's expectations, Raman's approach towards women at large is portrayed through Daisy. Okay, the way he perceived Daisy, the way the things that he expected from Daisy. Then next is male gaze or objectification of women. Now, the concept of male gaze is given by Laura Mulvey, and she says that in their traditional exhibitionist role, women are simultaneously looked at and displayed with their appearance coded for strong visual and erotic impact, so that they can be said to connote to be looked at-ness. So, in her book, Visual and Other Pleasures, Laura Mulvey Laura Mulvey explains that how women are objectified, women are looked at, women are perceived as objects of desire. So when Raman started looking at the fish woman in the Auto Expo, he also started to, he started to gain a sort of pleasure, a visual pleasure. And it is not only Raman who is, who is man who exercises male gaze or objectifies women. It is also through Raman, the author R.K. Narayan, he is also showing that how society has continued to perceive women. Next, fantasy versus reality. So Raman was distanced from the reality, or he deliberately ignored reality. So when Raman, finds out that Goku's parents are there in the expo, he did not make any attempts to find his parents. He did not, for a minute, think that if he takes away this child, who is merely 7 years old, he could, run away from his home. He could run away from Raman's home. He could do anything possible. And he doesn't seem to reflect about the consequences of his action. And he gets into a world of fantasy, a world of unrealistic dreams. And, as the story ends, or the story ends with his end of fantasy, when, at the end of the story, he gets a reality check. He gets to meet reality, that this is reality, that Goku's parents are waiting for him. Okay, and he could not save Goku from the thrashings, from the beatings that which were landed at him by his parents. So there is, again, a world that, a paradox, a portrayal of a paradoxical world of fantasy and reality. Then it also certainly portrays that Raman was quite innocent. Okay, and I will talk more about the theme of innocence. Then next is modernization. Now, the story was written in 1976. Now, at that time, India as a nation was a new concept. So by the 1970s, the Indian government was taking every effort to emerge as a nation, as a, it emerged successfully as a nation, but the government took measures to, create a foundation, say a unified culture, or, certain, say, policies that would, help India to grow as a nation. Now, the story talks about the modern equipments, modern world around Raman. Okay, it's an expo, it's a fair, and there are commercial film songs, there are loudspeakers. So 20 years back, the fabric of Indian society was not like this. But gradually, with modernization, with industrialization, India started to develop. Okay, so we also get to view the, say, the image of a modern India, and also India as a nation collectively. Okay, then next is personality. Now, emotional instability, childishness, erratic behavior, unrealistic thoughts, a dispassionate man, seeking vengeance, and hopelessness, all these can be found in Raman's personality. Okay. Next, yes, as I said, innocence in Gopu and Raman, both. Raman was also innocent, Gopu was also innocent. Gopu's innocence was a result from his age. He was a child of 7 years old, so that's why he was innocent, but yet very naughty. Raman's innocence can be considered as immaturity as well. Okay, so Raman is a man who keeps looking for sexual pleasure, or say physical, to fulfill his physical desires from Daisy. Then he falls in love with a woman who already had a history of escaping a marriage. So there is again immaturity in Raman. Feeling of loss, Raman's depression. So, you know, in the story, there is a description that every morning it's very difficult for Raman to get up and to face the day's events. So that feeling of loss, you know, it results from Raman's separation from reality. So as Raman was separated from reality, he did not have the stamina or the strength to you know, to face reality. He underwent through a feeling of loss, and that feeling of loss comes from distancing away from reality, from one's own self. Then also definitely when someone is unable to make peace with the past. Independence. Now, you know, Daisy is independent in her own way. Raman is independent in his own way, and Gopu is also independent in his own way as a child. So everyone is independent. All the characters in the story are behaving independently. Daisy doesn't depend on anyone. Daisy is, you know, financially independent woman. She makes her independent decisions. She walks out of marriages. She doesn't, and you know, as this story is part of, or taken from the part of, rather, part of, or maybe you know. Sequel to the novel, The Painter of Signs. So in the novel, as I told you, that Daisy had confessed to Raman that she had escaped a marriage. She didn't want to be married. So Daisy was independent. Raman was also independent. Raman lives alone. Raman very erratically, very irrationally, he decides. Although, you know, it's a sign of weakness. He is you know, unrealistic. He is impractical. But again, then, you know, but again, these his choices, decisions show his independence. Gopu, as a child, he loiters in the, you know, expo. He you know, he knew that his parents might be looking for him or waiting for him, but still goes ahead, mixes in the crowd. So Gopu was also independent. Now, background to the story. This is very important for you to understand the context of the story, because every work of literature is set in a social context. So without knowing the social context, it won't be a justice for you to read the story. Now, yeah, so by, you know, 1972, Indira Gandhi, the then Prime Minister, started to focus on birth control policies and population control policies. So the government actually started to set up camps where people, especially the poor people, they would be forcefully dragged to those camps, and they would be forcefully sterilized. Okay, they would be forcefully sterilized, and this mass sterilization camp activities, this went on almost for 3-4 years. So some, you know, some social workers really objected to this government policy, and Indira Gandhi, had declared emergency, but in the period of emergency, the camps were not there, but still mass sterilization used to go on. And so, Daisy working as a person for the government, for family planning and population control. So this shows that the author R.K. Narayan, he is critiquing the government, the society, okay, and the fundamental rights, violation of rights, okay, violation of rights, and also um, a very brutal activity. Okay, so here are some links. You can click on the links. Now, some of the questions that pertain to the story and are very important. So, who is the hungry child in the story? What kind of hunger did the author convey? How will the hunger go? Is there any similarity between Raman and Gopu? Raman as an anti-hero and Daisy as a feminist. So who is the hungry child? Is it Raman or Gopu? We can say that Gopu is the hungry child. We can say that Gopu, asked Raman to buy him candies, chocolates, sweets. He was hungry, the literal meaning of hungry. Okay, but what is the figurative? What is the subjective meaning of hunger in this context? What is Raman hungry for? How will Raman's hunger go? Okay, so is he hungry for love? Is he hungry for physical relationship? Is he hungry for a family? Does he want children? Okay, because he gets immediately attached to a child. Okay, and then what are the similarities between Raman and Gopu? Raman as an anti-hero. So Raman is the protagonist of the story, but he behaves completely opposite to the concept of the hero. Daisy as a feminist. So these are some of the questions that I would leave with you to reflect upon. And here is another link. So I hope this lecture was helpful for you. Thank you so much.